Let us learn about the chapter The Concert, written by Shanta Rameshwar Rao. What exactly is a concert? A concert is a musical performance. Let us see what the chapter Concert says. Let us know about the author Shanta Rameshwar Rao. She was born in 1924. She was an Indian writer of myths, legends, folk tales, short stories, and picture book for children. She has retold tales from Indian scriptures and revoked folk tales and myths from little known tribal communities and far flung areas of India. In Tales of Ancient India, she retells original stories like how the stork got its long neck and why snakes have forked tongues. Children's Mahabharata and in worship of Shiva, drawn from Hindu myth and scripture, have demons, gods, and humans as characters. The author stresses the importance of wise action in our public as well as private life. A great poet, English poet and writer, Walter Savage Landor says that music is God's gift to man, the only art of heaven given to earth, the only art of earth we take to heaven. So, music is something very closely related to heaven. So, music is a source of imagination. It can be a source of imagination for some, it may be a source of entertainment for somebody, and it may be a source of stress release also for few, and many as such things. Everybody would like to enjoy the music, either it may be a pleasant music or a harsh music or a rap music, whatever it is. The present chapter is based on a true story, whereas the names of the characters are modified except the great artist, the music artists. Students, you need to refer to page number 86 to 91 for the lesson reading. Follow the lesson as I go on with the explanation. The story begins in a small apartment in Bombay. A girl of about 16 looked up from the newspaper and very excitedly reads the news that Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing tomorrow at the Shanmukhananda Auditorium. Who is Pandit Ravi Shankar? He is a famous sitarist, one who plays the music instrument sitar. So, where he is going to give his concert in Shanmukhananda Auditorium. An auditorium is a place where some such programs take place, where people go and visit or listen to such concerts. Looking her excitement, mother asks her to keep silent because she was pointing to the figure sleeping on the bed. There was a small boy sleeping on the bed, and mother says her not to wake him up because he needs all the sleep and rest. But the boy on the bed was not exactly asleep. He says in excitement, Pandit Ravi Shankar? Yes, Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro. Who is a maestro, a great performer, especially a musician. And he raises himself on his elbows and then he feels sick for himself and he fell back again. But his eyes were shining. He repeats the words, we mustn't miss the chance. And he also says that I've always wanted to hear him and see him. Here we see the mother's concern about the child in this paragraph. Mother was worried and she asks her son to lie down because he is very excited after hearing the news. Then her eyes fills with tears and she turns to the idols and utters her prayers unbidden with endlessly. She is having deep sorrow in herself, which is not being able to express. And I must hear him and see him, the boy repeated. The boy repeats the sentence again and again. I should hear him and see him. It is the chance of a lifetime. He says again, it's a chance of a lifetime. Then suddenly he starts coughing and he gasps for breath and had to be given oxygen from the cylinder that stood under the bed. But his large eyes were fixed on his sister, looking at her very helplessly. Paragraph 5th describes Anand as a talented boy. The boy who was sick is Anand and his sister Smita. Smita had bitten her lips in self-reproach. She didn't know in her excitement what she had uttered. She had been so excited seeing the announcement and that she had forgotten that her brother was very ill. She had seen how the doctors had given up their efforts and spoken words that neither she nor her parents could understand. But somewhere deep inside, Smita had known the frightening truth that Anant was going to die. The word cancer had hung in the air. Her brother was dying of cancer, even though she pretended that all would be well and their family would return back to their home in Gaganpur. He was only a 15-year-old boy. He was the best table tennis player of the school and was the fastest runner. Both brother and sister learned music, but Anand was better than her, as in many other things too. He was already able to compose his own tunes to the astonishment of his guru. Even his guru was astonished seeing his talent. Then cancer had stuck and they had come to Bombay so that he could be treated at the cancer hospital in the city. So this justifies that even before getting ill, Anant was a talented boy. In this paragraph, let us see why the family had come to Bombay. They had come to Bombay having hopes in the miracles of modern science. Smita's family stayed in Aunt Sushila's apartment whenever they came to Bombay. Though it was small, they had to stay there. They had come with high hopes. They had hopes in the miracles of modern science. Science is something which could cure anything, was their thought. They told themselves that Anand could be cured at the hospital and he would again recover back to his previous life, where he was a very talented boy playing table tennis, a best runner, and a good sitarist too. But his condition grew worse with each passing day, and the doctors at the cancer hospital said to take him home, give him things he liked, and to indulge him in whatever he wanted to. But their voice were in fears. The family smiled, laughed at him, talked and surrounded Anand with whatever made him happy. They fulfilled his every need and gave whatever he asked for. And now he was asking to go for a concert which he thought it was a chance of a lifetime. And so mother consoles him saying that when he gets better, he could go and listen to the concert because this was a not last time the musicians are going to play. Smita expresses her sadness in this paragraph here. She stood at the window looking at the traffic, her eyes filled with tears. Her mother whispered and says that she must go to the concert along with her father and her father would accompany her to the concert. When she was alone, she could share her views with Aunt Sushila. She cried out in a shocked voice saying that she couldn't go out alone because both brother and sisters used to go out wherever they went together and now she couldn't even imagine herself going alone to the concert. Looking at her sorrow, Aunt Sushila suggests her to take a walk in the park so that she may feel better. In the park, Smita saw people running, playing around, moving here and there, feeding the ducks and eating roasted grams and peanuts. But Smita felt alone, even though there were many people around her. She was lost in her thoughts. While sitting in the park and observing others, Smita gets a daring thought to her mind. What is the daring thought and how she implements it? Let us learn in the next paragraph. She feels she comes back home. She says to her mother that it would be nice to have an opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar because they stayed in a village like Gaganpur. She feels that it is an opportunity for her to hear to the concert of Pandit Ravi Shankar, and she agreed to go to the concert with her father, and her father agreed to get the tickets for the concert. Smita leaves for the concert. The next day, as Smita and her father were leaving for the concert, her brother smiled and said, "Enjoy yourself." Though the words uttered by him were very painful, he always felt that his sister was lucky enough to listen to the concert of Pandit Ravi Shankar. Let us see what happens at the concert in paragraph 11. Sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard, as in a dream, the thundering welcome the audience gave the great master. As the sitar masters or the musicians entered, the audience welcomed that with a thundering applause. Then started the program. The first notes came over the air and Smita felt as if the gates of enchantment and wonder were opening. It was so well. A feeling of great pleasure was there while listening to the music. Spellbound, she listened to the unfolding ragas. Music has got such an attraction that anybody would get devoted towards it. And she listened to the unfolding ragas, the slow plaintive notes, the fast twinkling ones. But all the while, the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind. There was something she had decided in her mind which kept on digging inside her mind. And the words repeated by her brother, the chants of a lifetime, every now and then, every beat of tabla reminded her the words of her brother. At the end of the concert, the audience gave the artists a standing ovation. Standing ovation is a great round of everybody applauded them by standing. And at the end of the program, a large mustached man made a long, boring speech. And after that, the curtain came down and the people began to move out of the auditorium. Now see the plan which was in the mind of Smita. She executes her plan now. She brings that plan into action. What was that firm plan which was in her mind? In order to execute that plan, what she does is she wriggled her way through the crowd towards the artists. After the concert was over, the artists were standing to her side and speaking to themselves. She made herself towards the artists, and he was standing there with the man who played tabla for him, the great wizard of the music, Ustad Allah Rakha. Along with Pandit Ravi Shankar, there was another person called Ustad Allah Rakha. Both were standing to the side. And by the time she moved towards them, she was interrupted by that mustached man who had made the long, boring speech. And he says to her that Pandit ji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such requests. When Smita requested that she wanted to meet the artists, he interrupts her. But Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and made a gesture for him to be quiet. And he turned to Ustad Sahib and said, "What shall we do, Ustad Sahib?" Because Smita had explained the condition of her brother to both the musicians. And then they both decided. Ustad Allah Raka says, "Tomorrow morning we perform for the boy." Yes. So both the musicians agreed for Smita's requests to play for her brother. Great maestros plays for the boy. They play the music for the boy. It was very excited. Smita came home that night with lot of excitement, and Anant was awake, but he was breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. And very excitedly he whispered to his sister, "Did you hear him? Did you see him?" "I did," she replied. And she also says that she has spoken to the maestros and they will come tomorrow morning with the tabla ustad and they will play for you. And the next morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors saw two men getting out of a taxi. All were in a curiosity to see that the two great players, musicians, were near the apartment. They couldn't believe their eyes. They were thinking, "Is it possible?" "It's not possible," they said to themselves. But the two maestros had come to the apartment of Aunt Sushila. Moves out of Anant. His life gets ended here. As Pandit Ravishankar and Ustad Allah Rakha went into Aunt Sushila's apartment and they started playing for the boy. They sat down on the divan by the window and played for the boy, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness as life went out of him gently and very gently. And his desire to listen to the concert of Pandit Ravishankar was fulfilled by his sister by the time he loses his life.